Can't get no drier run than this. That window is far too open, but let's in the Hall of Mirrors. We gotta leave that open for at least a minute. Greetings, gamers. I hope I'm on camera because I can't check. Welcome to CFC. This is a unique experience for me because I've never actually done this for my own game before, but first time for everything. Gotta cross-pollinate, gotta cross-diversify, gotta get people interested in this however I can. So, first and foremost, shoutouts to you for watching. Shoutouts to Capcom, SNK, Nintendo, Marvel, which I guess means Disney, Namco Bandai, Arc Systems, couple other companies I'm sure that hopefully won't sue me, will allow me to get this game across the finish line. This is the second try. This is our second attempt at putting this bad boy on the screen for you good people. The first time was attached to the Stop Killing Games movement, which, if you're curious, is going well. I believe they're well over 1 million signatures, which was their goal, but there are still many fraud/errors, concerns. So the goal is to just keep going. So if you're in the EU and you care about game preservation, please look into Stop Killing Games or look at my own video on the channel from just a couple weeks ago. Fans of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, it's going to be migrating. I made some tough decisions here. AI can't hurt me. Gonna be moving to Tuesday because I'm having a little performance issue regarding Hollow Knight. But they are the same genre, Metroidvanias, and I'm trying to slot my games together so everything can have a day and some other stuff. Point being, Tuesday is Metroidvania Day, and it's normally Hollow Knight Day. It's gonna be you just went all in on me, Casey. That's messed up. It's gonna be Prince of Persia for the foreseeable future. I mean, Hollow Knight, when I finally play it, I'm gonna sprinkle that bad boy in. It's just gonna be there 1 week, but the point you got it. It's late. How you doing it? What a world. Anyway, this is CFC. CFC is not my game. I did not invent it. I didn't even come up with, this is a really old card game, early 2000s. I want to say the first one, CFC, Card Fighters Clash, came out on the Neo Geo Pocket, and it was made by SNK while they were doing a series of crossovers with Capcom. I wish this should work. And it did. Capcom and SNK, who famously have made a ton of fighting games, even back then, and now they're still at it. They collaborated. This is before guest characters were everywhere. On a series of games. Some of them were fighting games, and some of them were. Some of them were not. This was not, but because it was released on a very, SNK made their own portable. You're not going to beat Nintendo at the portable game. So many companies have tried and failed. This was an early attempt. Point being, they put some banger games on it, though. Some real cute games, and obviously, there's no backward support for Neo Geo Pocket games on anything going forward because nothing went forward. There was no Neo Geo Pocket Color 2 or anything. It just, some of the games made it, I think, into some Game Boy, DS, case in point, CFC got a DS sequel. They made 2 of them on the Neo Geo Pocket, and then they made, I should have boppered. And then they made Yeah, CFC 1, CFC 2 are on the Pocket, and then CFC DS is on the DS. CFC stands for Card Fighters Clash. I just use CFC because number one, Card Fighters Clash is a mouthful, and number two, that's was my way of distinguishing it from the others' games. Because honestly, if you search for Card Fighters Clash, that's really the only way to find it because it's not that popular. So I didn't want to try and like spoof their name to like draw any of their results. I was like, we'll just call it CFC, and that will be the inside ref. You know, like yeah, I'll put the title screen in there, the graphic in there at some point, just you know for shout-out's sake. But in terms of like branding, I'm not trying to call this Card Fighters Clash. I'm not trying to call it a legit sequel or whatever. This is a fan game. That being said, I am remaking the second in the sequel because that one is the hardest to find, the hardest a lot of things, but in my opinion, it's the best. The third one in the sequel, DS, shipped with a game-breaking bug. I was lucky enough to get one of those copies. And if I remember correctly, the bummer actually didn't happen until New Game Plus, so you could actually make it through the whole game. You just couldn't get every card, and that was where I got pissed. So, because of course there wasn't any other people for me to play with. I think I played it on an emulator, or I got no, I must have played it on I must have got a pirate cart or an import cart. Anyway, I got boned on DS, but that was long after I had said they need to port Extend Edition, which is the name of the sequel. They need to port Expand Edition. I need to port it. They didn't. They couldn't. I get it. Licensing, you know, technology, tons of limitations. Anyway, I always said I would do it as a long-term fan game wannabe maker. I run a website called Fightabase, which is covered in fighting game information, which obviously is just like drenched in SNK and Capcom. I always wanted this to happen. Anyway, I've tried a couple times in a couple different languages in a couple different formats. You know, I'm not trying to play with their formula. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm really not trying to adapt a lot of the stuff from DS, the sequel. I'm mostly trying to keep it grounded in the world of Expand Edition. I did do my own play on Force, but we'll get into that later. Point being, I've stuck to the 3-on-3 format. You know, DS expanded the ring out to have like, I think you could have up to 8 cards in the ring at a time. They changed all the cards, what all they did. They changed the artwork, which some people aren't wild about. They're in my game, so you can see the clash when the time happens. I figured authenticity and preservation was more important than, you know, thumbing my nose at some poor artist who was doing his best at the time to draw 400 different little pictures. Anyway, as you play CFC, you're going to collect cards from 2 Expand Edition and DS. And a couple other custom cards I have made for myself. All 424? I don't know the exact number off the top of my head because, you know, it's been a process. But I think it's 424 cards. Oh, Hokuto Maro, I'm sorry to do it to you, but they, I know, right? Bye-bye, Arthur. Woohoo. Yeah. It's, you know, strategy. The 424 CFC2 cards, Expand Edition cards, they're all in there. You know, my plan is to do full compatibility, so they will all work exactly as they did in the game. I have not made any concessions. I have not rebounced anything. I've even bounced some some thoughts that I had because there were cards I never got access to, I never got a chance to play with, or I just never used because, of course, I was working on a translation from Japanese to English. I never understood how they worked. So when I've been going through this, I've been using some facts. Shoutouts to Game Facts. Shoutouts to K.O. Megura. Shoutouts to there's a couple I'm reading. I don't know. I'll do a more appropriate, you know, shout-outs, special thanks. But there's like 3 or 4 fact writers I want to thank for, you know, just documenting this way back in the day and making sure I mean, game facts, that's what it does. Point being, it's taken me my sweet time to do it. I'm finally doing it in the Godot engine. Because my previous game, Guests of Shelter, out on itch.io right now, the alpha version, I don't necessarily recommend it. It's not a very good at this point. But it taught me a whole lot about how the Godot engine works. And so what happened is I took a break on that. I said, wait. We learned how to do so much in the engine. This is the time to do CFC finally, because I tried it in HTML, I tried it in C, I tried it in BASIC, I tried it in a couple other formats. I said, finally, I know Godot. Like, I got this. Let's shelter on the shelf, because that's a new thing we came up with, and go back, way back, to the past and right the wrong. That is CFC not being available. And I got started, mostly because I didn't have anything to do on a plane trip at the time. But here we are. It's only been a little less than a year now in development. Yeah, we're at about 9 months. And we are going to be releasing at the end of this month being July. So if you're watching this video in the future, after July, I should have put in Proto Man. It should already be out. It should already be available in some capacity. Probably on itch, maybe some other places. I don't know if anyone's going to care. I'm doing this as a passion project for myself, which is why it would be great if any of those companies involved would not send me a cease and desist. I had given some thought to not releasing, just waiting till it was done and releasing it one time. But as I discussed in my other video, number one, I don't think anyone cares enough to kill this project. And number two, if they do, that'll actually help me light the flame of some of the other things I got working on. Guests of Shelter, the YouTube channel. Any number of things could benefit from me being, known as someone who got destroyed by one of these companies. So, we're just going to give it the old college try. End of this month, we're going to call it the alpha version. And, I'd love to say exactly what's going to be ready, but, not all the cards. There's no way I'm going to make it through all of them. There's 150 abilities done now. All the cards are in. The question is, will you be able to get them? Because there is a small RPG attached to playing the game. I have done a little RPG mode for it. And, of course, accuracy, which it's all data entry. It's all my mind. It's all everything. So a lot of it is checking the paper, checking multiple papers, make sure they agree with each other, putting it in the game. That's just for the numbers and the artwork. Then there's translations and names and such. Then there's the abilities, which, some of the biggies, that's not true. It's been a complete hodgepodge. Some, at one point I was like, I'm gonna just do my favorites, but some of my favorites are really complicated cards, and it was hard to code that stuff first. So then I started with some of the basic ideas, and it's just kind of spidered from there. Any ability that makes sense to write in the code based on code that already exists, based on cards that I can get on the part of the game that I'm testing, because it's I don't just give myself god powers. I'm trying to test the AI to make sure it's smart. I'm trying to test the cards to make sure they work. And I did make one change. If you're familiar with how the game plays, which I don't know how long we've been going. I guess I'll check that in a moment. The cards have backups, which is just a neat way to buff them while they're in the car in the ring. I added backups to the game. That is the only change I actually made to the... Well, this is probably a bad idea. Probably the only actual change I made to the gameplay, and I mean, maybe it'll turn out to be somewhat significant. Wow, I drew 10 cards. That is so wrong. That's why it's wrong. Hold on a minute. I can't let that stand. I discovered what I did wrong the previous time, which was, well, you don't need to know about that, but suffice it to say, I can't code live at the same time I record. Well, whoa. you only drew 2 cards. Well, you're only supposed to draw 2 cards. Why did you draw 10 cards? Am I losing my mind? Maybe I searched for the wrong number. This happens sometimes. Anyway, Godot cannot handle me doing both things at the same time. Yeah. Ability 138. Just looking at the code. Again, this is what I do, is I do abilities. Yeah, it didn't work for crap. And then I slowly but surely, you know, debug it to make sure it works. All right, now. Deck all. This is going to take a little bit more scrutiny than I can probably handle on the TV, but no, I should be right. The player, really? The deck is that? Well, that, oh. No. Oh, it shouldn't be adding those. It shouldn't be doing those at all. Anyway, this is why I can't guarantee all 424 cards will be working exactly as they should. Because sometimes very basic, very simple ones, like drawing the right amount of cards, could just like lead to a disastrous amount of debug work. So sometimes it helps out in the process of testing because I wind up cheating really hardcore. But by the same token, also sometimes oh god, I probably left the Hall of Mirrors up. Nope. These are the things it hates. It hates me jumping around menus. It hates me being in Godot. It hates me being a bunch of other things. But typically, as long as I get back to the game, it will recover. My code is good. Ding! No memory leaks. So, point being, end of the month, the alpha release will be out. Single player, you will be able to play through the RPG mode. I'm testing it my butt off. I'm trying to get to the point where you can go through the entire mode, where you can access all the cards. But now that we've actually set a hard date, that's no longer like a deciding factor. There's possibility it might need to be, but I'll try and like cut it off so the game's not like buggy. There'll just be stuff you can't do. It'll just be like characters that won't pop or prizes you can't get. I still have to hide all the S rank cards or S rarity cards because I've only put a couple of them in the game like earnable because I don't want the player to have the ability to get multiples of those. And then the next step will be a beta, which will, I don't know when that's going to come out because I'm taking a little dev break, working on some of my other projects after the alpha of this comes out. We're going to see if the project cools, if it heats up, if anyone cares. And I'll work on some of my other projects, namely Fightabase. The site is in rough shape. It's been on life support for a couple years now, basically. I mean, it's not on life something like it works. I don't know, maybe it doesn't work today. But point is, it needs a lot of work, and I've been neglecting it because that was another thing that was like, we're gonna work on Fightabase, and then I was like, oh, Godot powers. What if instead I put all my energy into this project's 20-year-old project of mine? Here we are. So, but end of the month, that'll all change. I'm gonna take a break. The YouTube stuff is already picked back up, so if you're subbed to the channel, you know, please drop a like. I can't, you know, like, I really appreciate the likes. If you guys could like the video, especially this one, visibility, that would be great. But, you know, like business aside, we'll be in Fightabase mode for a little while, get the site back up and running. I'm not sure if, again, if we're going to go all the way to all the goals I want for the site, or if we're just going to do a little bit, but that's the thought for a different person. Get in there. You've got sound effects. You're gonna get to, that's another, like, the sound effects thing is completely arbitrary. Is the wrong word. It's just like, what have I found? What's easy to access? I think I give a shout out to the good people at soundsresource.com as well as spriteresource.com, because those are some great sites for getting game resources from older platforms, from older systems. There's sprite rips and sound rips on those sites, and they have been instrumental in figuring out which games, you mother father, have been, what I'm going to be able to put in the game and what I'm not going to be put in the game. I want to say every card is going to have some sort of unique sound files, but that is a stretch goal. If people are dying to help out, that may be the sort of thing that I could get someone to like submit, if I could be like, hey, can you get the sound files from this obscure like Capcom shooter from like the NES? And like, yeah, but otherwise I'm probably just gonna rip the sound files from like Resident Evil or something else and put them in there. I don't know. Again, I ain't got that kind of time. Sound effects have now started going into the game because it's the sort of thing like I'm playing the game right now. So while I'm waiting for KC to make their next move, I'll jump back to the code and play with the wave files or do whatever. But there are times when I'm A, not in the mood, or B, like the actual problem. Like, I can't jump back and forth because it'll slow it down. Whatever's wrong with the performance, I'll have to work through that. But I forgot my point of thought, and I started thinking about the cards. Because there's nobody. This is a terrible. I drew all them cards, and I got no backups. I even got a Sodom. I changed the code so you can't, like the ones that are off screen, because it was originally creating a big old graphical glitch. But now it's way worse. Now that you're ever supposed to draw 10 cards when you play Edmund Hadda, but debugging. Anyways, when I do return to the game, the next goal, the next release will be when multiplayer is done. Right now, it's just going to be you versus the AI. I have trained the AI on all the cards that are in the game. That's not true, but I am training the AI on all the cards that are in the game, so if, I know how to use the card theoretically and the code is supported, then theoretically the AI will have somewhat of a strategy. It's not perfect. It's still gonna like KO itself from time to time doing dumb plays, like it's sitting on 17 SP probably because it's got a handful of cards it doesn't know how to use. But that's another thing I'm working on right now, and that will be the primary way of playing it when it comes out at the end of the month. When it gets released, it will be when I do the beta release, that is going to be multiplayer. I'm going to do online multiplayer, probably just peer-to-peer, no servers, no rooms, any crazy stuff like that. I don't know what all the Godot engine can do as far as online play. It is a little baby engine, and I am a little bit worried about some of the more complicated elements of online play, i.e. cheating, i.e. griefing, like card trading, things like that. I don't know how I would factor that sort of stuff into the game. That's why it'll be like in a while. I'm just not worrying about it right now because, when I excuse me, when I start working on the online play, I want to do it in earnest. I don't want it to be, I'm just slapping it together in the background. It just kind of works. I would love it if the single player game is 100% solid. You can get all the cards work before multiplayer even happens. I don't think that's realistic schedule-wise. I think the way things are getting done, it'll be more like, the cards will still be working into compatibility as I reach the point that multiplayer is also a possibility. But again, that's forward thinking on the project right now. I gotta figure out why E Honda's stupid entry ability is flaking. Nonetheless, let's do a quick time check while KC is deciding. We got 5 minutes. We got another 5 minutes. So what I did want to do, this is an SNK deck. No, it's not. It's a Capcom deck. So let's go ahead and draw an SNK deck with the last 5 minutes. Again, the game, it's a game. It's a game you can play. I gotta wait for my turn because I disabled the ability to just like derail the opponent's turn. Again, the goal is not to play the game with a different set of rules than the player does because I want to make sure my experience is 100% in parity with yours because I want to make sure your experience is, awesome and not like secondary. So we're going to quit the game, but we're going to start a new game, which works now. Oh my god, it did the thing. Alright. The way I have done it up, I had to do a how to play screen because, of course, it's a crazy card game. I would love to do like an interactive tutorial, even like a practice mode type of thing. I had some vain ideas, but again, it was more stuff that was getting in the way of the main development of the game. So for now, pictures and text, I'm sorry. First thing you do is you pick your team, and we were just Capcom, so we'll go SNK. First card for SNK side is Terry. We got those little descriptions down there. I hope I'm not in the way, but of course Nope, I couldn't even see it in the preview. It happened too fast. But Terry's one of the ones that's got good sound effects. You can slow down the video if you want to read these, but I can assure you that I'm going to change the verbiage on them because I am very picky about my verbiage. But it's the kind of thing that, like, it had to go in, and I had to change it when I updated, blah, 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 and now I'm back to fixing cards. But you get a starter card, whichever team you pick. You get Terry for SNK, you get Ryu for Capcom, and then you get a couple of Cha cards, you get a couple of AC cards, and you get dumped into the menu. So this menu, which has got the background because nothing ever works when you want it to, is kind of the central hub for playing the game. That's a lie. It's kind of a fake out. I didn't want to present too much of the game at one time. So you start at this menu. It's got some hints on the screen like, you got 41 cards. Collect 50 cards to unlock Force. You can go back into how to play. And yeah, I put how to play screens in here. You can read all this stuff, right? Like, it's kind of ugly and bad the way it was in the original game. But I guess in a way, that's an homage. But nonetheless, you can review your cards, obviously, all the ones you had. If they got sound effects, you can play around with them a little bit. The details down there are coming together. It's not all perfect. I'm sure you'll see some that are totally inaccurate. Maybe even some spoilers of some of the other stuff I got going in the game. I'm not here to police it, but quick match, I wanted to be authentic to the CFC1 experience, right? Card Fighters Clash 2 is when they introduced the reaction cards because of a glaring design flaw in the first game. Basically, whoever at the top of the game, once the game gets really going, basically whoever wins the coin toss won. The nature of like top decks and random select is, every now and again, the loser might draw a powerful enough like reactive card, or the coin toss winner might, but it was bad. So in Card Fighters Clash Expand Edition, it's running slow again. Ugh. This recording thing is just, it's my computer. It exploded. It exploded on me like a week ago, which is why I'm even further back than further behind than I wanted to be at this point in development. But this piece of crap totally exploded on me, and then I had to spend like half a day just recovering it, and then it was like, did I just lose my whole game? Like, did I lose everything? Thankfully, I'm pretty good at this stuff, so I didn't lose too much progress. I just lost, again, the whole computer had to be reset up, so that took a lot of work, but whatever. Anyway, Card Fighters Clash 2, Expand Edition. They added reaction cards. Fixes the problem. Again, balance in the game is tenuous, and I know it. I'm not going to sit here and act like the game is well balanced. I just wanted to play the game some more. But if you want to play without the reaction cards, you can play the quick match mode. The quick match mode has a number of AI opponents from the original game. That's why I picked them. That's why I included them. Also, the graphics were easy to find. And they don't have reaction cards. So you can put together your own deck without reaction cards, and you can fight it out Wild West style in quick match. The other characters, which you will meet as you progress through the little RPG mode, Yeah, it's running bad again, but I don't know. You know, I could have made any number of mistakes when I alt tabbed around. It hates when I alt tab around. Um, Terrific. Of course, my game is running, so I'm going to leave all of it in. What do I do? Mute it? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the video so I could have some money and live. Am I going to draw any cards? I drew 8. I know where it's getting that number from, I think. It's not time to fix it now. Anyways. We're not going to get to it now because we're way over time, and I apparently am rotting from the inside out. But as you progress to the RPG mode, you will unlock more gamers to play, and they do have different arrays of cards for you to play with, as well as different sets of rewards for you to... I mean, this is a pretty crappy draw, even with 500 cards in my hand. Not that I can see. Look at that. There's Ralph over there. There we go. Nope, that's not it. It's running so slow. My hands are so much faster. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the gamers. The gamers, you unlock the gamers, you can play against them. And the point is each of their reward sets, they give you different cards when you beat them. That's going to be how you get all the different cards, as well as I might, again, it's going to see if how much energy and time I have to do it. But I want to put hide some in the maps, so you have to interact with some other stuff besides just the gamers to get them, but that's time and energy that I may not have as a luxury. So, we will still. Irregardless, this has been another 30 minutes on CFC, this time without any Activision in front of it, so I want to give you a shout out for watching it. Please hit the like button if you want more CFC. If you want more of my videos, that would be great. But if you want more CFC, certainly get the like button. Son of a gun. Let me know in the comments below. Stop by Fighter-Base. That'd be great. Excuse me, I'm just dying. Oh, you right? Yeah, you're gonna crush me, Doug. Oh my God, you're supposed to be so much dumber than this. The AI is now officially. It's a weird point in game development when your game gets better than you, right? Like obviously, the whole point of difficulty is that it can challenge you, and so. In the beginning, it starts off, like in infancy, it can't do anything. You have to teach it everything. And so every step of the way, you're just like, ugh, I can't believe it did that stupid thing. I can't believe it did that stupid thing. And then there's the first day it does something clever. And you're just like, oh, what? Anyway, we're long past that place because now we're at the point where occasionally it just like beats me, right? Like I remember when the AI couldn't take a single hit off of me because it didn't know how half the cards would work. It would play them out of order, whatever. And even then, it took me so long to teach it how to use AC cards because the action card system is, what they can do is bananas. There's so many different variants in what they can do, so I was more focused on the character cards in the beginning. Anyway, yeah, there's no point in that, but I can't even see. I could play no tricks. Did anyone get backed up? No, he just got the lucky draw on Talbane. Anyway, we're now at the point where occasionally the AI will just like make a sick backup and then like a sacrifice play with this and then kill every card in the ring and then strike me and kill me, and it's just like, oh right, Card Fighters Clash. Anyway, I hope you hit the like button by now. I hope I'm still alive by the time this video goes live. Shoutouts to you for watching. Flibbity, flobbity, floop. CFC's coming. End of the month, July 2025.